Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai with the total Fall of the Samurai. We're here looking at a battle replay of a battle that took place quite a while ago, but I haven't just been able to get around to actually commenting on it. The thing though is that I waited so long that two other people has actually already commented on it, which is the mod creator, the guy I'm facing in this battle, which actually did a live recording of this, and we're gonna cut into some of his parts in this. But this battle was also covered by Jackyfish, which is a rather large YouTuber with over, I think, 100,000 subscribers. With that said, let's go ahead and go right into it, shall we? We'll start off by looking at the army compositions, which I think is rather important. So that should hopefully be on your screen right now. At the top we see my army, the Prussians, and at the bottom we see Izzy with his British army. And I'll quickly just go through this. So we'll start off from the left, going to the right. So I've got my general. I've got my 2 Hanoverian guards, I've got 6 Brunswick and line infantry, I've got 4, I think those are Bavarian light infantry, then we have Bavarian saber cavalry, 2 of them, and 2 guard dragoons, 1 life guard horse, and then 2 howitzers. On Izzy's side, we've got 1 general, 1 life guard, 1 dragoon, 1 Lancer, I think it's the Duke of Cambridge own. Then we got 3 elite infantry, which I think is 2 Coldstream Guard and 1 Grenadier Guard. Then he's got 2 units of light infantry, 1 Gurkha and 1, I think those are, I can't exactly remember what they are, but it's a guard light infantry, so pretty expensive light infantry units. Then we go through here, we can see some Scottish infantry, and basically the rest of his army is infantry, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 infantry, and then he's got 2 artilleries, one of which is a howitzer compatible with one of mine, and then he also has a smaller 6-pounder artillery. So why go through this? Well, there's some important things to go through here, one of which is the advantage I have in light infantry, which I have 4. Not a big game changer though. I also have a advantage in artillery since I have heavier artillery, but neither that is really a game changer, but obviously it weighs in my favor. The big thing I think is the cavalry advantage. So I outnumber him with 2 units of cavalry, which is quite a lot, especially since that will allow me to be more mobile and move my troops quickly around his flanks, which is going to be important in this battle as we see. I'm going to skip over quite a bit of this battle and go just for the important parts, since this has already been featured in 2 half-an-hour videos. So the first thing we're going to see is me using my cavalry to quickly outflank Izzy on his right flank.
I will not have inane gossip on my battlefield.
So at this point my lines have started skirmishing with each other, and over on Izzy's right flank we can see my cavalry has arrived ready to take on 2 of his units, and it is his elite units. He's placed all 3 of them on a line right here. Unfortunately for Izzy, the battle advisor does not actually warn him, so if we go over to Izzy's video...
Brunswick. A lot of light infantry, huh? Damn it!
We can actually see that he's not warned at all by my cavalry, which at this point, as we can see, unhindered, charges straight into his guards. And spoiler alert, I'm going to be able to slaughter both of them, which is a huge upset here in the beginning of the battle. You can see my dragoons now going in behind the second one. It's very funny actually to watch Izzy's version, because it takes quite a while for him to realize what is going on, but once he does, it is too little too late. He will be able to send in his lancers to chase my cavalry away, but at that point I have already cut down so many of his guardsmen, and if you compare just the cost of my cavalry compared to his guard unit, that charge was really cost effective. The Duke of Cambridge Own is actually one of his highest killing units, but that doesn't say much, since they like killed 93, I think, of my men, and a lot of it is here, but also later on when they actually charge in to attack my cavalry. So a very good start here for me, very good indeed. But shortly after that quite successful flank attack, I do make a mistake. So I've pulled forward my cavalry along here again to be ready to possibly pounce on his flank again. He sends in his lancers, and well, I should have pulled my men back. Unfortunately, I did not. I am, however, able to counterattack, but it's kind of too little too late, and my Bavarian unit will be severely damaged. But I have enough cavalry troopers to defeat the lancers, but it's at a heavy cost. So that could have been done a lot better. Not entirely sure how this lancer died, because he died even before the contact. But because of the lancer's charge bonus, they are able to slaughter a lot of my Bavarian saber cavalry, and they will be down to, I think, somewhere around 25 men or so. But as we can see, just the amount of cavalry troopers on my side is enough to turn the tide of battle and signal victory for my side. And not shortly after that mistake, I make another one. So at this point, I've lost quite a bit of troops on this side myself. I have pulled up one of my reserve units, one of my elite units, the Hanoverian Guards, to be stationed back here. But after the cavalry fight over here, I actually sent the men forward, since I had the momentum and he had no cavalry support. Unfortunately, I didn't press hard enough, and so my cavalry unit dies right here. Not that big of a deal though, it was already cut down to size, but here I kind of get a bit overconfident, and we're gonna see another mistake made during this battle by myself. So we've got some elite light infantry firing over here against my line infantry, and then we have, I believe, the Gurkhas coming in. And given how they move, they're gonna move very close to my line infantry. Now I shouldn't take into account that he's moved his life guard over here, but I guess I forgot that. And I basically tell this unit of line infantry to charge the Gurkhas. However, as you can see, the Gurkhas are rather fast, and so my line infantry is caught out here, under fire, and then they're caught up by the lifeguard horse. So not very good, and I lose this line infantry unit. Luckily for me, I'm able to pull up the Hanoverian Guards, And unlucky for Izzy, I start targeting his cavalry with artillery. And also, he starts chasing down my Royal Dragoons. And he rides right in front of the Hanoverian Guard using the Suppression Fire ability. I'm not entirely sure, maybe the Suppression Fire ability doesn't work really properly. Or maybe they have so many hit points because they don't take a lot of casualties here. I am clever enough though to move my cavalry away this time, not to engage in a losing cavalry battle. What I should have done was bring up my reserve cavalry to fight him, because I've got my lifeguard horse over here. I did, however, bring up the general. Continuing on here, you might think Izzy has the advantage now on this side, since he's two pretty elite light infantry units skirmishing with my Hanoverian Guard. However, the Hanoverian Guard, for some unexplicable reason, had turned into gods, and so even though they're gonna be under heavy fire for quite some time by two light infantry units, they managed throughout the entire battle only to lose 5 soldiers. So I'm not entirely sure what happened here, how they become completely immortal, but they don't lose a single soldier. At this point in the battle, I have secured my left flank through heavy fighting back and forth in this area. I have killed off his life horse guard with my life horse guard. And so I do have the cavalry advantage, but a lot of my units on this side are depleted, especially the cavalry units, and they're also tired. So I don't really have the manpower to go ahead and push on this side. Izzy has been pushing me back through the center, and I have been suffering casualties, but so has he. So the center is very inconclusive. It's time now to move my fresh troops on the left side, where I have a clear advantage and also outnumber him in troops. I'm sending up my second Hanoverian Guard. We saw how the immortal Hanoverian Guard performed on this side, so the other Hanoverian Guard will certainly perform very well on this side. And also I do have the cavalry advantage. I still have 2 fresh cavalry units against his single dragoon, which is hiding over here in the forest. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, shall we? Let's jump into it. He's got 1 unit of Highlanders over here ready to fight with my Hanoverian Guard, but he doesn't really stand a chance, does he? As my Hanoverian Guards quickly move up, and my cavalry advantage is going to show. We're gonna see the soldiers here lining up ready to take on these guys, and my cavalry will quite quickly be able to take on his dragoons. His dragoons are actually gonna perform very poorly in this fight. So they're being chased by my dragoons. We fired, and at some point here he realized he can't just keep running. He's gonna turn around, and there's gonna be a cavalry fight. But obviously at this point, my cavalrymen have been riding up behind, firing into his back. He's not gonna have a good time fighting back. At the same time, the Highlanders are retreating by the sight of the Hanoverian Guard, but also by the fact not the Hanoverian Guard, the Hanoverian Saber Cavalry. They do manage to form square, but it's not a great place to form square, as we'll see, as I at this point am starting to turn his flank rather quickly. They will put up a heroic struggle here to protect themselves, but it's no use. So at this point, I'm quickly being able to move in more troops. So each troop Izzy loses in his line here adds another troop to be put up in his flank. So I'm moving up another one of the Brunswickens. So now we have a Brunswicken unit and the Hanoverian Guard both firing on this small unit of, I think these are Highlanders? Yes, Colonial Highlanders. in square. Not a great thing to be standing in square. And I use one of my clever tactics, which is either if you do a feint attack or you just need to ride your cavalry close to the enemy, and in fear of receiving a charge, they usually form into square. The square is not that good. Well, it's good against stopping cavalry. It's not that good if you've got enemies in line ready to pounce on you. I do believe he actually gives the order to countercharge the cavalry, which obviously don't go that well. I let my cavalry ride through and leave the Highlanders in disarray to be mopped up by my enemy. One thing that I didn't cover, which I kind of wanted to cover, was Izzy made kind of an interesting mistake with his line infantry over here. So earlier on, when he had his troops in line here, he enabled the what's it called? Suppression Fire. Now, Suppression Fire is good if an enemy is close to you, because it increases the fire rate. However, it reduces the accuracy, and it also reduces the range. And here is what Izzy made his mistake in the range department. So I think it's this unit, and these guys are firing back and forth at each other. Izzy enables the suppression fire, so now these guys don't actually reach to fire at my men, but my men are able to fire at them. And it takes quite a while for Izzy to actually realize that these guys are not within range, at which point he moves them up to be in range, and that allows obviously me to use the suppression fire against Izzy. So that's one thing to look out for. At this point we have rolled up so much of his flank. I've got 3 units coming in. We've got the light infantry being moved up. My cavalry has gone out over here and sent off his artillery, which didn't have any shells, so that wasn't going to do anything for them anyways. So at this point, if we even quickly take a look at the map, we can see that I am starting to completely encircle Izzy, and it's not going to be long here before he completely collapses under the weight of my superior troops, my superior number of troops, as they're able to come in on the flanks. He's forced to form into square to protect against my cavalry. He's trying to retreat, but it's not going to go well under fire. Also, I should say at this point, I stopped prematurely to fire my artillery just to save up a few shells to save for the final part of the battle. So even though there's no shells coming in here, I do still have shells to expend at the end of the battle. He countercharged my cavalry. Not a great plan. Absolute carnage takes place here. I mean, his charge is going to take some of my men out of here, but I'm pretty sure I'm actually shooting more of my own men. Once my cavalry has cleared the area, I opened up with barrage fire where you see these tracers, and yeah, it's just about time to lie down and die. Izzy is at this point. In this point, it's quite clearly over, and he kind of forms into a square here in the center with my troops, as we can see on the map, completely surrounding him. And soon my artillery start bombarding him. We got more fire coming in, and it's gonna be all over at a certain point here. Trying his best to hold on, but there are just so many Prussians at this point, attacking from all sides, that it's really it's over, as I've said. I don't know how many times I can say it's over, but I do believe we heard me calling in the artillery, or maybe it was me actually telling, yeah, here comes the artillery shells.
Victory is assured, sir.
His troops here start to rout, causing a mass rout within his entire line. Finally, his general gives away, and we've got victory. They're all routing there. And there we have it. Close victory. I did paint it very much as me being in favor throughout the battle, but during in the center and back and forth here, he actually managed to inflict quite a bit of damage on me, so I lost a third of my army. Maybe we should go ahead and take a look at the statistics to more easily demonstrate this. As you can see by the overall statistic, we don't actually deploy that unsimilar number of troops. He has actually an advantage over me by 500 men, which you couldn't really tell throughout the battle. And taking a look here, we can see that I lost 1/3, while Izzy lost about 2/3. Quick comparison here can tell you that I almost team kill 100 men of my own, while Izzy keeps it a lot more simpler with about, 24 men of his own being shot. Quickly going over the stats, the highest killer, the immortal Hanoverian Guard, only losing 13 soldiers, killing 320. Then we got the cavalry up in top for my side, killing a lot of troops, especially those really expensive lifeguard units. And then we got the second Hanoverian Guard, which even better, they lost only 8 men and killing 144. This might actually be the immortal ones, and these might be the ones that pushed up on the right flank. My artillery actually did surprisingly well. Normally I'd think that they don't actually do that much in Total Fall of the Samurai compared to, say, Napoleon. The difference, of course, is that these guys have limited ammo. Going through here is... well, it's pretty good throughout, except for, I guess, this one, which I believe is the unit that charged. They only got 44 kills, losing most of the unit and routing them from the field. We got another here in the center, I believe, that lost a lot, but they held the center, so they did their job, and they're also cheap units, so it doesn't matter that much. If we go to Izzy's side, it's quite surprising to see that one of his howitzers is actually the highest killer. Then the Royal Marines, followed by the King's Own, then the Duke's Lancers, Lifeguard, and so forth. But you can't see his elite troops up here, which is worrying. And if we go down to the bottom, there is unfortunately where we find his elite guards. So his Grenadier Guards is the elite troop he has that kills the most, which is 33, losing more than half of the unit and routing off the field. The Coldstream Guards, which are the ones that get attacked by my cavalry in the beginning, they manage to, both of them combine, only kill 7 men, and one of the units even kills 0, so it's only 7 kills by one of the units, which is, I mean, that's a disaster, isn't it? And they're losing, out of 400 men, they lose 278, so it's a massive defeat on this side. Same with the Dragoons, they also manage only to kill 4 of my men, losing basically the entire unit. Only 2 managed to get away. So I think the lessons you can take from this is maybe, if you're thinking about setting up your army, you kind of have an idea of how I do it, and also kind of a bit on just a little bit maybe how to conduct your battles. With that said, however, I think this video is long enough as it is, so hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!